Hello and welcome back to the channel. As always, I'm Morgan. Now, before I head on to the topic of today, I'm just going to address the fact that videos have been a little irregular the last few weeks to a month, and that is in part due to how weird everything's been, just with school being online, and I've adopted a horse, been working on training her, and then surprise ducklings, which we will talk more about that in a future video. But as of right now, we are working on getting everything else back on track now that the craziness is now being smushed into a schedule. But without further ado, today's topic of discussion is starter pets and why I don't believe there is such a thing as a starter pet. A common thing to hear when parents are talking about getting children pets or their first pet to take care of themselves is the term starter pet. And the idea of a starter pet is something small and easy for a child to take care of by themselves. The problem with this is that just because an animal is small doesn't necessarily mean it's easy to take care of, and doesn't necessarily mean a small child should be trusted to take care of it by itself. Now, I'm not saying that a child is not able to learn how to care for a pet and take care of it under proper supervision, but the term starter pet is a bit of a problem because it implies that this particular pet is exactly what it says, a starting ground for pet ownership. And a lot of times this term is going to go along with animals like hamsters, gerbils, mice, sometimes rabbits, fish, leopard geckos, small snakes, things like that. And generally these animals are thought of to be easy to take care of and easy to handle. And while they can be, a lot of times their husbandry is not necessarily researched well enough by the parent or the child, or they are given to a child that is so young that while, yes, they are perfectly capable of helping to take care of an animal, they shouldn't necessarily be allowed to take the sole responsibility of caring for something like a hamster. That being said, as a child, I did have hamsters from a very young age, and rabbits and things like that I did kind of take care of myself, but my mom was always there as well, helping me take care of them. While by the time I was 7 or 8, I could clean the hamster's cage by myself, it didn't necessarily mean that I was left alone to care for that animal. And later in life, where I am now, I also look back and see how the husbandry could have been much better. And these are just the things that aren't necessarily thought about when you're looking for a starter pet for a child. While I am not a parent and I'm not necessarily planning on becoming a parent, I do have many opinions about these starter pets and pet ownership for children and young adults in general. I do have friends and family with young children who may or may not be getting to the point where they're looking into how to teach their child to properly take care of pets so they can move into something that is more advanced, like a dog or cat. The problem with this is that no matter what pet you get your child, whether it's fish in a fish tank, a gecko, a hamster, it's gonna have specialized care, and up to a certain age, if you are getting that pet for a child, if you are the parent, that pet is still your responsibility as well. A 7-year-old just isn't going to be responsible enough to take care of that pet 100% by themselves. Again, this is not me saying a 7-year-old cannot make a good pet owner. This is me saying that as the parent, any life that is in your house is in part your responsibility as well. There are just going to be things that a developing child is going to need help with. And if you are getting your child a pet hamster in preparation for a dog next year, that is almost nonsensical. A dog and a hamster are two very different things. While yes, I agree that getting your child a smaller animal that you can help them care for and they can learn and build responsibility, just because your child gets very good at taking care of a hamster doesn't necessarily mean they're going to be good at taking care of a dog. These are two very different things, and they require different care, different levels of responsibility. But I do see how talking to your child, getting them a smaller animal for the time being until they're a little bit older is a good thing. But I don't think that you should look at these smaller animals as easy or something that you're not going to need to supervise your child while they care for, something that you're not going to need as being properly cared for as well. Any animal that comes into the house should be researched by every member of the family and should be cared for by an adult as well, to at least make sure you're catching any health issues or any other problem that a child may not realize is a problem. While these animals can be a great thing, they're great about learning about the intricacies of life and animal care and can prepare you for a more intensive animal like a dog or a cat or something considered more advanced. The concept of a starter pet is, again, nonsensical to me. These are not starters for anything. These are still animals that require very specific care and are not easy. They're not disposable. And while I don't think that everyone thinks these animals are disposable, I do see a common theme that with like a hamster, a lot of people are like, oh, it's just a starter pet, which implies some level of being disposable or not as serious as a dog or cat. But no matter what it is, that is still a life, that is still something that needs to be cared for and deserves to be cared for properly to the best of anyone's ability. Yes, children are capable of learning how to care for these things, and yes, I do think that they can be a good learning experience, but they should not be left alone for a child to care for solely on their own. There still needs to be an adult supervising that care and supervising that child when they're interacting with the animal for the child's safety and for the animal's safety and well-being as well. So in the future, I am going to start looking at these, quote, starter pets and the mainstream husbandry and products you see out there for them, and going a little bit more in depth about better care for them, perhaps, and a little bit more into why, while they can be great for a certain age level, they should still have either a parent or an older teenager or something helping the younger child care for them while they are learning about this responsibility in animal care. And I would like us to put the term starter pet to bed. It is a terrible term. I don't necessarily like it. I don't like these animals being grouped into that category because I believe that that term just, it lessens the seriousness of the specialized care that the animals need. And that just leads to pets not getting the proper care potentially, or just them not really being taken seriously, and could potentially lead to injury or other problems down the line, or just the improper husbandry and problems with other animals as well in the future, which I realize is a bit of a cynical look at it, but I think that any pet you bring into your house is a serious decision, and no matter what the goal for you in that particular animal is, there should be research involved. And even if it's a child's pet, there should be an adult also overseeing that animal's care. I realize that I've kind of been on my soapbox and preaching a little bit in this video, and I thank you for getting this far along. I apologize for any background noise we're getting. My bathroom is currently home to my quacking duck overlords at the minute, but we will talk more about them in a future video. And I look forward to seeing you all in the next one. Have a wonderful day, evening, or whatever time increment you happen to be at. Thank you again for watching this video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and ring that bell if you would like to see more. And if you'd like to follow me on any of my other social medias, the links are down in the description below. Don't forget to check out thereptilegoth.com for all of my articles and blog posts. If you found any value in this video and you would like to help support the channel, please check out my Patreon page. That link is also in the description down below. And a special thanks goes out to my Diamond Dragon patron, Diane B. What you're doing is really helping me fund a dream here. I will see you guys all in the next one.